Hello everyone, today I would like to talk about transurfing. There is a book I read, a Russian book translated to English. It's called The Transurfing of Reality. Let's listen together to each part and discuss it.
Dear reader, everyone wants their life to be comfortable, abundant, free of illness and chaos, and yet we often find that life has its own plans and can leave us feeling like a paper boat spinning round on life's turbulent waters. You may have tried all sorts of popular methods aimed at achieving happiness, but I wonder how effective you found them if they conformed to the traditional worldview. Transurfing is a powerful technique aimed at giving you the power to create aspects of your life in a way that would ordinarily seem impossible. In particular, transurfing will give you the power to control your own destiny as you see fit. I promise no miracles, and yet something greater than a miracle awaits you. You will discover that hidden quality of reality is more extraordinary than any mystic tradition.
The first time when I read about transurfing, I thought that this is when you think about something and that will happen. I thought it's related to the law of attraction because I watched only one video about this topic and I didn't read the whole book. But after hearing most of the book, I understood that transurfing is a good philosophy. It's not only about the change, but about ordering your thoughts. Maybe some ideas in the book aren't that clear, but if you listen to the whole book, you will understand that it makes sense.
Be careful of anyone who tells you that you are less than perfect, for how could anyone else possibly know how you are meant to be? If you are told that you must change yourself in order to achieve the things you want in life, the solution is not where you were looking for it. The main idea of transurfing is based on the existence of the alternative space, which stores the scripts of all possible events. The number of alternatives is infinite, just like the number of possible points on a coordinate graph is infinite. In the alternative space is written everything that was, is, or ever will be. Under certain conditions, a person's thought energy can materialize a given sector of the alternative space.
Maybe when you hear about the alternative space, you think that it's something imaginary. But logically, we can give this idea a chance. So our choices could be really unlimited, and everything that we did during our life lead us to this moment. But if we did something different, we could be in a different place, with different clothes, with different position, with different mindset, etc., etc. And maybe those are the spaces, the alternative spaces this book is talking about.
The main idea of transurfing is based on the existence of the alternative space, which stores the scripts of all possible events. The number of alternatives is infinite, just like the number of possible points on a coordinate graph is infinite. In the alternative space is written everything that was, is, or ever will be. Under certain conditions, a person's thought energy can materialize a given sector of the alternative space.
So the most important for us is to choose the right direction or the right space where it will lead us to particular results.
We all make mistakes in life and then think how wonderful it would be if we could turn back the clock and put everything right. I'm not promising you a train ticket back to your childhood, but mistakes can be put right. And doing so is a bit like returning to the past or even stepping forward into the past.
It's also about not thinking about the mistakes we did before. As I watched in one of the movies, I remember it's an Egyptian movie when I was in Algeria. This Egyptian actor, he said that I never regret what I did. So we also have to never regret what we did, but just learn a lesson from that and try to not repeat it. Because if we regret and always blame ourselves, it will be not good for our mental health.
Chapter 1. The Alternatives Model. The Rustle of the Morning Stars. I was woken by the neighbor's dog barking. The nasty animal was always waking me up. How I hated it. Why should I have to be woken up by the noise of someone else's pet? I decided to go out for a walk, calm down, and distract myself.
So in the book, he is talking about a character and how he changed his life.
I want to share this with you so that you can understand why apples fall to the sky, why the morning stars rustle, and many other curious things.
This book also makes us think about why some events or some things in the nature are happening.
Chapter 2. Pendulums. Destructive pendulums. We are taught from childhood to obey the will of others, to perform our duties, serve our country, our family, the company we work for, a political party, the state, or even an idea. To serve anyone except ourselves. To varying degrees, everyone has a sense of duty, responsibility, necessity, and guilt. Everyone is ready to serve a group or organization in one way or another, be it family, a club, school, company, political party, the state, and so on. All these structures emerge and develop when a separate group of people begin to think and act in the same way. Then they are joined by others and the structure grows, gaining strength, forcing its members to follow the rules and eventually amassing the potential to gain control over large groups of society.
So he's telling about a very good thing, that we are always serving someone else, but not ourselves. And the more we are a part of a community, the less we serve ourselves.
On the material level, the structure consists of a group of people united by common goals and material objects such as buildings, furniture, equipment, machinery, technology, and so on. On an energetic level, however, a structure appears when a group of people think in the same way, as a result of which the parameters of their thought energy are identical. Their thought energy finally unites into a single current. When this happens, as if in the middle of an entire ocean of energy, a separate, independent energy information structure is created, which is referred to as an energy pendulum. Eventually, the structure begins to live its own life and subjugate to its laws the very people who created it.
And here you see that sometimes a narrative is created and it's shared in all social media and it's promoted. And you think that this narrative could be useful for someone else. That means they are trying to convince people to think the same way because they are creating this big energy. And a group of people can just profit from that. So the more people get obsessed about this idea, the better this energy is and the better the person who created this narrative can profit from that.
The structure is referred to as a pendulum because the more people, adherents, that feed it with their energy, the more powerfully it sways. Every pendulum has its own characteristic beat frequency. For example, if you want to get a swing moving, you have to push it to a certain rhythm or frequency. This is called the resonant frequency. If the numbers of adherents decreases, the force of its swing is weakened. If it loses all its adherents, the pendulum will stop moving completely and thereby cease to exist as a separate entity.
Maybe here he's trying to explain that your choice shouldn't be based on the choice of others.
Balance. Everything in nature strives toward balance. Changes in air temperature are balanced by wind. Differences in temperature are compensated by thermal exchange. Wherever there is excess potential of any energy form, balanced forces emerge to correct the imbalance.
You see, this book is not only about the choice, but about the balance that you can create in your life.
The fact that we become accustomed to something doesn't mean it is the way things necessarily are. One can only imagine what the world would be like if it were not for the law of balance. An atmospheric jelly or an aggressive furnace, perhaps. However, the unsightliness of such a world is hardly a reason to support the existence of the law of balance, and so we are left to accept it as fact and to wonder in admiration at the perfection of the world nonetheless, puzzling over the question of what governs it all.
So he is kind of giving us an idea about taking an example from the nature. So the nature has a balance in everything, and we should also find our own balance.
Chapter 5. The Induced Transition. With age, life somehow seems to get worse. Once a certain number of years have passed, people begin to sense that events do not make them as happy as they did before. Picnics, parties, concerts, films, celebrations, dates, warm seawater, From an objective point of view, all these things are still pretty much the same quality as they were before. Parties are still fun, films are still interesting, and seawater still feels warm. Nonetheless, life is not the same as it used to be. The colors have faded, our responses have dulled, and enthusiasm has waned. Why is it that everything is so much more wonderful when we are younger?
You see, with the age, we start losing that interest to joyful things. So this book helps you to bring back those feelings and those good emotions that you had from the joy before. There are other chapters of this book. I just wanted to resume the beginning of this book and what kind of useful things it includes. So I leave the link in the description. You can hear it for free. This is on YouTube and it has a lot of chapters and you can hear every day one chapter, for example, and after finishing reading or hearing the book, just come back to this video and tell me what do you think about it. What's new that you learned from it? And do you think it's worth it to read? That's it about this video. Thank you for watching. See you in my next videos and goodbye.